What's happening everyone, TomGorian here, and welcome back to another episode of the F123 Driver Career Mode Haas to Glory. This is round number 11 for Season 1 of the Haas to Glory F123 Driver Career Mode series, and we are starting this episode with the shock retirement of Fernando Alonso. Alonso held a press conference earlier today, and he is announcing his retirement from Formula 1 for the second time in his career. So goodbye, Fernando Alonso. So, performance update as we're heading towards the final quarter of the season, and we are literally on par with Ferrari, Aston Martin, and just behind Mercedes. But as you can see, we have a lot of minor upgrades coming in the next couple of races, including this one, the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. Check out the previous video and also check out the playlist annotations at the end, and subscribe to the channel and click the notifications bell so that you never miss an upload of the Haas to Glory. So let's get this video started. We are in a reality where in our rookie season we could be challenging for the World Championship, and that's something that only in the modern era Lewis Hamilton has only achieved. So we begin this video with a powertrain department meeting, and there's going to be a breakthrough in the simulator. R&D believe that we are on the verge of a major breakthrough and require my time in the simulator immediately, which means I will be missing out on a powertrain department meeting, but we're going to do it anyway because we need any gains possible. So we're going through the timeline. We've got our weekly resources, 1,381 resource points, and as you can see, this is our upgrade development. Aerodynamics. We are currently going through a side pod upgrade and also a front wing upgrade, and we're trying to save enough resource points to try and get a intercooler positioning upgrade for the chassis, and as you can see, that goes onto the car. So we've got another powertrain department meeting, and as you can see, the simulator was worth it. So looks like we found that breakthrough that we've wanted in the simulator. As you can see, the intercooler positioning upgrade is now complete, and now it's time to either do the engine cover distribution or the fuel tank positioning, which are major upgrades, which will be on the car for the Qatar Grand Prix in the next episode. So we're still in the midfield. We're getting left behind, actually, in the chassis department as far as the chassis upgrades. So I think as far as the rest of the season is concerned, we need to focus more on the chassis upgrades and less on aerodynamics. Speaking of aerodynamics, we've actually got a front wing upgrade. That's on the car now, the gurney flaps, that's on the car, so now we can literally focus on the front wing territory wing flaps upgrade, which is going to cost 1,000 resource points for this race. Well, we're not going to get it for this race, but we're going to get it as soon as the Qatar Grand Prix just after this video. So we're going to try and rush this upgrade. I believe we do, because Qatar, you need downforce around Qatar, and if we get that upgrade before the Qatar Grand Prix, that will really help our car for the remainder of the season. But for the fuel tank positioning upgrade, which is a major chassis upgrade, we're going to try and rush this upgrade. Actually, no, we're not. We're still trying to decide what we want to do between aerodynamics and chassis, and as you can see, there's the territory wings flaps upgrade. We're going to rush that upgrade right before the Qatar Grand Prix, and as you can see, the powertrain upgrade, the magnetic compound ERS upgrade has failed. I'm not really bothered about that, simply because we have the best engine, and we'll probably have the best engine next season. And as you can see, the side pod profile upgrade that would have helped for the drag reduction has failed, and yet again an upgrade that we need, a major upgrade that we need, has failed, and now we are really in trouble as far as being behind McLaren, Ferrari and Aston Martin as far as the chassis upgrade is concerned. That's not what we wanted, but it's what we have right now. So it's Suzuka, it's a track I love racing on this game. Let's get into the weekend. So here we go, qualifying for the Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka, and it's in intermediate conditions. Now, I will be honest, as far as right here, right now, we're in late July. I'm not really comfortable as far as driving this game on the wet, so I decided to do 3-4 laps in these conditions to try and get a feel for the car, try and get a feel for these conditions, and just to really try and get a better understanding as far as this game on these types of conditions. And as you can see, the first lap we do is a 37.4 and we're 8 temps down on Nick de Vries. But we fast forward in towards second lap, and as you can see, we miss the first part of the chicane, but we are 1.6 seconds quicker. But as you can see, because of a bad exit, we've lost the 10th, and as you can see, with the improvement of a 35.8, we go into P9, and as you can see, this is now our final lap of this session. We've got just over 2 minutes to go of qualifying, so we are in P15 on fresh tyres and on minimum fuel. So this is it. We have to try and do something here in qualifying. If we mess this up, then chances are we are starting at the back for the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's not like in the last video where we can rely on our engine power and DRS to literally, pull us through the field like in the last video. But this is a worse circuit to try and overtake because of the downforce required. But as you can see, we are just under a 10th up as we enter the S's, and this part, as you'll see, going through the lap, especially into Sector 2 and Sector 3, I really started to gain confidence, and I really started to push the limits on this car. And as we enter the Deltas, we are literally just over 2.5 temps up as we enter the chicane. We get a good exit out of here, and we gain another 10th, or another 2 temps, and the track conditions are improving, but I think it's most of the time that is coming from this lap is because of the fresh tyres and the minimum fuel. But enter a second spoon corner, we go slightly wide, but the exits again, that's where we're gaining most of our time, is literally just on the exits. And as you can see, we're just under 5.5 temps up as we enter 130R flat out, even in intermediate conditions. And now we're just under 6 temps up as we enter the chicane. And we lose the back end there once, we lose it again there, and that's not really, oh no, that's not really helped. Yeah, so you know what, yeah, let's just finish this lap. That never happened, so we're going to enter 130R again, go slightly wide on 130R. And now we're going to enter the final corner, the final chicane. Clip the apex very nicely there. That was a bit of a blooper there. You never saw a thing. Anyway, shortest route to the line. Across the line we go. It's going to be an 8.5 temp improvement. We do a 35 flat, which has given us a purple, Sector 3. And at the end of the session, we finish in P8, ahead of our teammate. Just so you know, there has been an update towards F123. The AI have been buffed a bit, so that they are quicker on 104 difficulty, which is why Kevin Magnussen is in 10th. But it's a dry race, so let's do this.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issei Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole.
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
So the start of the race and the track rundown in towards turn 1 is very tight, especially around the second, considering that the first corner isn't really a corner, it's just a slight turn in, and then you brake for the second part of the first spoon. Very narrow, very tight, and as history has shown, there has been a lot of contact, especially with Verstappen and Leclerc over the last couple of seasons. So we're going to be running less wing. We ran 36.31 in intermediate conditions, and now we're going to be running slightly less. That might cause us problems for this race. The strategy, softs to, well, the mediums to softs, the complete opposite compared to everyone else. And as you can see, the tyre strategy diversity between all the drivers, and Magnussen is doing the opposite to us. So, let's score some points.
Here we go then. The formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
So, it is showtime as far as the end of Season 1. We've got 5 races left to decide the Season 1 Formula 1 champion of 2023. And I am surprised we are still in this situation. But because of, I wouldn't say luck, but just shock performances. We've won 3 races, we've had 5 podiums this season, and maybe we can try and challenge for another podium for 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. Hamilton hasn't had a good start, and the 2 Ferraris as well. And we absolutely mug off Leclerc, Sainz and Hamilton as we enter 10-1. And we're in 5th place. Made that 4th. Fernando has went wide. And we are now in P4 at the start of this race as Perez, Russell and Verstappen lead us away in towards the S sections of Sector 1. But we've actually made a great start. And that's the one thing I will say that's been very consistent as far as this season is concerned. We've actually been making very good starts on this game, and to the point where we've literally jumped a lot of cars at the start of races. But now fast forwarding in towards the end of the first lap, and as you can see, Charles Leclerc trying to go around the outside of us into 130R. That's not going to work. We're going to force him out wide, and most of the top 10 are on the soft tyres. So my thoughts going in towards this race as far as the tyre strategy is concerned was that eventually, because of the high degradation that this track provides, the softs are going to die out very quickly, so that we're going to have the advantage, and then when it comes to the second half of the race, we're going to be so much quicker. It's literally the F1 22 strategy, where we're literally going to go hardest compound first, and then the softer compound at the end. But as you can see, Charles Leclerc is now all over us. He's going to try and dive in on the inside. There's contact, and Charles Leclerc has spun, and I believe that's also Russell. Russell has also spun as well, but I think Russell has DNF'd from this race. I don't know what happened to George Russell, but as you can see, it's the replay, and from that camera angle, it just looks like Charles Leclerc doesn't even turn on us. We take the racing line, and that's a repeat of Senna and Prost back in 1990. Yeah, just as you can see, Leclerc, yeah, I can't lie, Leclerc has no more room to go. I mean, he's literally on the curb, and we take the racing line. It wasn't deliberate or anything, but I think that is a racing instant as we enter lap 5, and as you can see, Hamilton is now all over us. The car does feel very bad as far as slow speed corners. We just get so much understeer, and as you can see, Hamilton goes through in towards 3rd place. He brakes slightly early before turn 1, I've noticed. But yeah, after Hamilton literally got past, there was no way we were catching him. Speaking of catching, there's Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, and Perez has made a mistake. He's spun. Perez has spun on the exit of the Degner corners, and that has ruined his chances of getting a podium, and maybe even ruined his chances of winning the World Championship here in this season of the Haas to glory. But speaking of ruining, here comes Carlos Sainz, and he's going to ruin our chances at getting a podium. And once again, the AI just breaks so much later. Well, they break so much earlier than us in towards that sector, to the point where it just really catches us out. And yeah, thankfully there was no front wing damage at all. But speaking of front wing damage, here comes Alonso around the outside again, in towards 130R. We're going to leave him no room. And yeah, this part of the video was actually quite fun, because just battling with Fernando is always quite fun, but just when I was battling with Fernando, just Sainz, Hamilton and Verstappen, they just all just took off, and they just really messed up. And there's contact there between me and Fernando in towards the first corner, and luckily for me there was no damage. But yeah, I just lost so much time compared to Hamilton, Sainz, and also Verstappen, as Alonso and Norris come in for a pit stop. And I've actually noticed that as well, that with this update, the McLarens have also got a buff as well, so it looks like maybe we're not going to wait until next month to get the car performances, because the McLarens seem to be really quick at this stage of the season. But we're going to come in for our one and only stop. We're going to box right now from the mediums to the softs, providing that there's no safety car. And as you can see, a optimal turn-in, estimated time 2.4 seconds, and as you can see, we get a slight hold up there, but it's a 2.3 second stop time. And as you can see, we lose position to Albon, Magnussen, Piastri's in, Alonso, we lose position also as well to both Alpines, and thankfully we are ahead of Piastri as well. We get past both Alpines, because the two Alpines are really slow, to the point where they are literally the third worst team on the grid, as we set a 29.4. Unfortunately, that wasn't the fastest lap of the race, but we do get a purple final sector. So, coming on to the last 10 laps of this race, and there's a massive train for, P7 to P4 in this race between Norris, Alonso, Magnussen, and I believe Albon as well. Where the hell did Albon come from? I have absolutely no idea, but we do get DRS as we approach the final stages of this race. We're now close enough to Fernando Alonso, so let's see if we can try and make a move on Alonso as we head towards the chicane. We're going to move slightly late down the inside on the Aston Martin, and that is a position for us. That's a legit position for us in this race, as long as our tyre wear can hold on. Now we need to get past Albon and Magnussen to try and open the gap towards Fernando. Meanwhile, Magnussen is making a move on Albon. We're going to go on the outside of Albon and the outside of our teammate. Double overtake around the outside in towards turn 1. And that is a move that was set up to perfection in this race. And because of that overtake, we were able to hold on in this position. However, our tyres are now starting to die out now, and we have to make a choice. We have to either let Magnussen go and potentially hold on to this P4 and P5, or hold up Magnussen and Alonso gets Magnussen and he has a run on us. And we're going to try and play the team game here and let Magnussen go and hopefully recharge our battery to the point where we're going to keep Alonso behind. So, as you can see, this is going to be the final lap of the race, and we've got 63% of battery left in this race, even though the tyre wear has really kicked in. We've got DRS, and now we're going to attack our teammate Kevin Magnussen as we begin the final lap of this Japanese Grand Prix. He pushes us nearly into the wall as we go down the inside in towards turn 1, and that is 4th place in this race. But as long as we don't, battle too hard, P4 and P5 should be locked for this race. So, Max Verstappen, our Honda's home Grand Prix, wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Magnussen tries to go around the outside into 130R. He's got the run. It's side by side between the two Haas's. It's still side by side as we enter the final chicane here at Japan. He cuts the chicane a bit, but we do have the inside line. We slightly force him out wide. Alonso can't get past, and it's going to be a dominant P4 and P5 finish here for the Japanese Grand Prix. What a finish.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So as they climb out of the car, the Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly deserved win. Tell me, Anne, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So Max Verstappen takes victory here at Suzuka Circuit, just like he did last year. And in this universe mode type of, career mode if you will, his second consecutive win, and also his third win of the season, and he's slowly but surely pulling away from the Drivers' Championship. with Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton on the podiums. I mean, we finished P4 and P5, so we tried to do everything we could have done, but Verstappen once again was just too quick for us today. But yeah, P4 and P5, Magnussen has really started to show his skill now, and he could probably get P8 in the championship if things go his way, but it looks like we're going to secure at least P5 in the drivers and P4 in the constructors. But that is that for episode 11 of the F1 23 Haas to Glory. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, share, comment and subscribe. Turn the notifications bell so you never miss an upload, and subscribe to the channel for more F1 23 driver career mode content. Again, this was a fun race to record as we wind down the first season. Thanks for watching, make sure to leave a like, share, comment and subscribe for more F1 23 content, and I'll see you all in the next video in a bit.